Well, welcome back in, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed your little reprieve from Mama, I guess.
She's back. Shady's back.
Back again. Don't want to get
Tell a
sued, so we
friend.
gotta stop.
Tell a friend. Back from the wilds of Arkansas.
Yes. If you guys have seen more recent updates on the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page, it's because our social media person's back, because I absolutely suck at social media. My mommy is doing great.
And I don't do it all, but I don't understand it all, but I just go out there and go, oh, yeah, I like that. Oh, yeah, I like that. So, yeah. I'm thinking we need to add a few more comics to it, a few little things that just kind of set everybody off, and they go giggle. You know. Yeah. Suggestions if you have them. Send us stuff if you have them. Hey, we'll take it.
Exactly.
Yep.
However, we had an interesting conversation last night because my aunt and soon-to-be uncle, or is he?
Yes, they're about married, yeah. Anyways.
They're about to be married. They had a deer.
Poor Kathy. She had frickin' delivery service to her house. Some people hit a deer, nice buck too, a 7 or 8 pointer, in front of their house. And they went out there to help him, and the guy says, no, I don't want it. So David got to take the deer. I'm like, whoa, free meat. Didn't even have to use any ammo or go out and truck through the forest. It was right there in front of your house.
But anyways, he's processing it. And you guys are talking to me about the processing. And my little gremlin brain goes, ooh, you could bleach the bones and have home decor.
Poor Dad went, oh. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Katie. Yeah, I kind of like that idea, though. Ooh, we could make that one of our skeletons in the frickin' front yard.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
My God.
Additionally, I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but it's been known now in the little small town that we're heading to that I am terrified of dolls, and I am not looking forward to that.
No, I don't think Robert listens to it. He's all busy dude, but yeah. Our water guy is laying and waiting for Katie with the dolls. So, yeah. Should be interesting. I'll take notes and videos and pictures once I get there, because it's not going to happen until Dad and I are on site. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's already locked and loaded and ready to rock and roll if anything comes at her. So, I feel sorry for those poor neighbors.
Oh, God.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Katie had a good time babysitting a house full of critters and running between 2 houses, and
becoming the town gossip between 2 different neighborhoods.
Seeing interesting things happen in the neighborhood, and called me going, Mom, there was like a strange car over at your neighbor's house. I'm like, dude, there's strange people over at my neighbor's house all the time.
Okay, to be fair, I was completely exhausted when I saw that. I was running on empty, and I couldn't figure out where this car went. It went into a driveway. Like a visible driveway.
Did we tell you the story about the folks with the RV place down the road from us? They kept seeing all these dump trucks running down the road full of gravel, and they were like, where the hell is all that gravel going to? Where's it going? So Gary had one of his friends go try to track down the truck and jumped in his pickup and went running after the truck, and he says, dude, I lost it. It just like went out into the forest. I'm like, yeah, that's our front driveway. It's just it kind of goes like forever into the. He's like, well, we didn't know where it went. They were just disappearing into the forest. I'm like, yeah, that's ours. So yeah, we got lots and lots of gravel and dirt.
Shit, man.
So we were the talk of the neighborhood for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, but you were the good talk of the neighborhood. I was, oh God, they're having an affair, because I had just recently dyed my hair red.
Well, you harlot.
That is true. People, I was about to give you so much shit. I'm like, there are people at the grocery store that I've literally been called a harlot because of my red hair. I'm like, why? Where's the correlation with that?
Because they're old and crotchety women that wish they had your hair.
Oh, true. Very true.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, no, going back and forth between your house, I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was some gossip going on of who is that? Why is she leaving at 3 a.m? Why is she coming back at 5?
I'm pretty sure that they were more confused at the fact of there's a blue car. Now it's a black car. No, it's a blue car. Now it's a black car. What the hell is going on over there? But we never see the truck or the van.
What is happening?
I was going to say, if you really wanted to stump him, you should have jumped in the van and went for a ride around the neighborhood and came back, and they would have been like,
I actually thought about it a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know where the keys are at.
I don't either, so you're good.
I'm a little scared to drive it after Dad's, like, driven it into the ground.
I'm with you on that one. Good luck. You get to have that follow you out to Arkansas.
Follow. Follow is the key word in that statement.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't have the balls that your car does. So, yeah, no. He will be following
you.
He
will be following me.
Yes. So,
yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and get transitioned into our case today. So while we understand that some individuals listen for the entertainment aspect of true crime, it's important to remember that these are real people with families and friends who may still be suffering from their loss. These stories are not meant to open old wounds or cause further emotional damage to those involved. We remind you, please be respectful and do not dox or contact those involved with cases. The case discussed on this podcast today may be disturbing to some listeners, and listener discretion is advised. But as far as trigger warnings go today, I'm going to say child because she's 19, so she's still in that range if she's not full adult, but she's not fully a kid either.
Not yet an adult.
And she does have a NCMEC profile, so
okay.
I will count her amongst children for this. Katelin Akens was born September 2nd of 1996. She was described by family and friends as a book-smart and excellent student, picking up on things very easily throughout her time in school, and at times not even needing to study for tests or exams. Katelin was also described as a free spirit, outgoing, and absolutely unafraid to be herself. And regularly, she expressed herself through the use of different hair colors, tattoos, and piercings. And as her family notes, she was kind of out there sometimes.
I wonder if it's a name or just randomness, but Katelin sounds like a Katelin I know.
Right? I'm like, I absolutely love expressing myself through tattoos and piercings and coloring my hair. I haven't had a piercing in a long time. I'm like, I could actually go for a piercing.
Oh, you knock yourself out. Last one I did, I kept bonking it with my phone, and I was like, no, screw it. Just let it go back. I'm too old for this shit.
So growing up, Katelin had a best friend named Amber Rios. They had actually just lived down the street from each other in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. The girls were crushed, though, when Amber's family announced that they were moving to Arizona when the girls were around the ages of 11 to 12 years old. Now, the two did continue to talk throughout the years and remain in contact. However, their friendship started to bloom into something more romantic.
Ooh, spicy.
Now, Katelin graduated from high school at the age of 16 years old, and wanting to move forward with her life at that time, she didn't really want to wait the next couple of years to get through high school. And by the time that she reached 18 years old in 2014, Katelin was on her way to Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
The fuck? Is this why you can't? Don't look, because, kind of here. About the same time as you.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Katelin was on her way to Lake Havasu City, Arizona in 2014 to live with her now fiancé, Amber.
Ah.
Now, even with the distance between Katelin and her family, they remained highly communicative with her mom and her sister.
Excellent.
To which, personally, I do relate, because even though my mom is just down the street from me, I call you for everything. I'm like, I got a goofy...
All the time.
I got a goofy cat story, I'm calling my mom. I don't know a full recipe, I need to call my mom. If I'm bored, well, I best call mom.
And I absolutely love, my favorite one is, ooh, I just did something really horrific in the bathroom. Let me call my mom. Am I lying? You nasty. God. I need those updates like I need a hole in my head.
Now, Katelin liked helping people and giving them a confidence boost through doing hair, makeup, and nails, and deciding after 3 years away from school, she'd be returning to study cosmetology in Lake Havasu City.
Ooh, was she at Charles of Italy?
I'm not really sure because there's only like 2 cosmetology schools down here at that time because I remember I was looking into cosmetology
Yeah,
for a little
exactly.
bit.
It was Charles of Italy and another one that was over off of Acoma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only like 2 cosmetology schools here, so I'm pretty sure I know which one that she was most likely going for, which it's probably Charles of Italy because it's one of the more popular ones around here.
Yeah, and they're pretty good. I mean,
they've done good with my
I was
hair.
going to say Nana did it, and Papa went there forever.
Mm-hmm. So, and I also didn't know at the time if the other one was even open yet because it was still going through that process of opening.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah. So, a trip back to Virginia had been planned for months in advance at this point, as Katelin's sister Gabby announced that she was pregnant and expecting a baby in late November. Aww. According to Lisa Sullivan and Gabby, Katelin absolutely adored children and was extremely excited to meet her 2-week-old nephew.
Aww.
On December 1st of 2015, the 19-year-old traveled to Spotsylvania County, Virginia, where she grew up, to visit her sister's newborn baby. She also had a goal of grabbing her high school diploma while she was at home so she could finalize her registration for the local cosmetology school. On Thursday, 2 days prior to leaving to head home, Katelin managed to squeeze in some quality time with her high school friends, curious to know how things had been going since she had left the area earlier that year. The reunion continues into the early hours of the morning, and Katelin ends up spending the night at her friend's apartment, and they take her home the next day. Katelin is about a day out from her flight home, and at this point, she makes a mental note to go ahead and grab her prized diploma, start getting things kind of packed up, and she's planning to start beauty school the following Monday. So she needs it to complete her registration ultimately.
Right.
Katelin's flight was scheduled to fly into Las Vegas, Nevada, with her departure time being at 5:40 p.m. on Saturday, December 5th of 2015, where her fiancé, Amber, would pick her up. This would leave Katelin with a day to relax upon returning to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, before starting classes on Monday at one of the local beauty colleges. To which, if you don't know, and I can vouch for this as well as my mom can.
If you're coming to visit, do not say, hey, I'm going to be in Phoenix. Can you swing by? Fuck no, it's a 4-hour drive.
Exactly.
Go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
Vegas is 2.5. 2 if I drive with me.
It's a scary drive.
Yes. It really is.
So on Saturday, December 5th, Katelin squeezes in a last few couple of hours with her nephew, Landon. And since Lisa Sullivan, her mother, was unable to get the day off, she had Katelin ask her ex-husband, James, her stepfather, if he would be willing to drive Katelin to Washington's Reagan International Airport.
Okay, so this is her stepfather, not her biological.
This is her stepfather.
But they're divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I caught up.
Now, James did agree to drop Katelin off by 1 p.m. since that day he had a shift starting at 3 p.m. Now, just a little bit of a backstory. Lisa had married James when Katelin was only 7 years old, as her biological father had left when she was just a baby.
Oh.
James was the only father that Katelin had ever known. And however, when James and Lisa did divorce at least 6 years later, the two maintained a very cordial relationship, with James continuing to celebrate holidays and birthdays with his stepdaughters, Katelin and Gabby.
Nice.
Now, Katelin was overall excited to see James because it had been a while since she'd seen him, and she was excited to catch up. However, there is some contradiction to the statement made by Katelin's friend Kevin Eastridge in a 2017 interview with True Crime Daily. In this article, Kevin notes that Katelin was flat out distrusting of James and that she felt nervous around him, stating that he had an abusive behavior and to an extent was abusive to her. However, Katelin never revealed if this was physical abuse. However, Kevin does note that it was definitely verbal. Now, it's important to note that none of these allegations that Kevin has made have ever been substantiated, and there are no charges that have been filed against James in regards to abuse.
Okay.
Now, James lives in Partlow, Virginia, and Lisa dropped Katelin off at his home at 9:20 a.m. The two have a quick visit before their 60-mile drive to Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. Because James is an insurance agent, he has to work later that day. Back in Fredericksburg, Virginia, Katelin has agreed to go to the airport 4 hours early at 1 p.m. since James' shift starts at 3 p.m.
Okay.
Confident that Katelin is in good hands, Lisa goes to work at a local grocery store where she's an assistant manager, and James checks in with her later in the day. At 1:52 p.m., James texts Lisa saying that he dropped Katelin off at the airport, and a minute or two later, Katelin also sends Lisa a text saying, "I'm at the airport, battery dying, so won't be able to text for a bit."
Okay, that's peculiar, but all right. We'll ride with that for a bit.
Within minutes, everything starts to unravel when Amber gets a very different text from Katelin and decides to reach out to Lisa, telling her Katelin isn't getting on the plane. Confused, Lisa asks, "What do you mean she's not getting on the plane?" And Amber responds with something along the lines of, "Something's going on and she's waiting for a new flight." And Lisa responds with, "What do you mean she's waiting for a new flight? She's only got that one."
The hell?
Now, apparently there was a text that came in at 11:56 a.m. to Amber's phone, and just as a clarification, I'm presuming that this is in Arizona time, which is going to be around 1:56 p.m. Virginia time.
Right, because they're 3 hours. Well, yeah, in December.
They're 2 hours ahead of us in December.
No, Virginia's still 2.
It's 2 hours. I Googled it.
Okay, yeah, it's 2, because Kathy's only 2 ahead of us now. All right.
So she had a message come in stating, "Something came up. I'm not coming back today. I'll let you know when I get a new flight. I won't be able to text for a bit."
I'm sorry, that's a little confusing. Does she not have her charger with her? Because even in 2015, airports had plugins.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of my thought, too. I'm like, honestly, growing up in like 2015, 2014, or even just through like 95 upwards to where we are today, taking regular flights with my family, like James and I discussed this in Sophie Reader's episode, we always had our phones.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I basically was like, if you're getting a phone, Katie, you have to be responsible and have it on you at all times type of thing.
Exactly. And
yeah.
I mean, the one time that it did not charge and you called me like 15 times, my ass was lit up for like 2 days on that.
Yes. And guess what? Has it ever happened again?
Like once, but I'm an adult now.
No, fuck that. You still call your mama.
I do.
Okay.
It's when you don't hear from me for about a day, that's when you should start getting kind of concerned.
And that what happened the last time when we couldn't get a hold of you. I had to make your daddy come over here and check on you.
You did. And I apologize profusely because my phone was on Do Not Disturb.
Exactly.
And I was doing work.
Little turd.
But like any mother, at this point, Lisa is starting to feel a little bit of panic with what's going on and decides to alert her family between customers of Katelin's change of plans. Gabby sends Katelin messages asking her to contact the family as they're worried about her and just want to know what's going on. On her way home from work, Lisa texts James asking where he'd dropped Katelin off at, and he says Springfield Mall, as that's where Katelin wanted to be dropped off at.
Why not the airport like the 4 hours ahead of time that they had discussed previously?
So, according to James, the plan was that Katelin was going to kill time at the shopping mall and then take the Franconia Springfield Metro to the airport. And I'm so sorry if I mispronounced Franconia. I think that's how it's said.
Okay, that just sounds odd, but okay.
Now, Gabby makes mention that Katelin had never heard of this mall, nor had she ever ridden the metro. And to do this all within the time limit of reaching the airport at 5:40 p.m., she doesn't believe that Katelin would have figured it out in time.
That is highly sus. Because that's like me sending you to frickin' Vegas and saying, here, go here to here, and you'd be going, you get lost coming out of your fucking room.
I do.
Yes.
So with this, Lisa and Gabby are now back home for the evening, and panic is growing. Lisa is continuing to send messages to Katelin, just trying to get a hold of her, and it's message after message until finally she gets a very cryptic reply. 2 messages came in at 7:15 p.m., stating, "I'm staying with a friend and I need time alone." And then
I've heard that
Caitlin's
before.
phone went back to her not receiving calls or texts.
Why have we heard that before? Something goes, ooh, Israel Keys.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have been around in 2014.
Well, I know. But that's just the same thing that the little gal that was taken by him, she said the exact same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, adding to this mystery, Amber gets a very disconcerting text that came through Messenger as well, stating, "I can't come back. I cheated on you."
What?
Amber notifies Lisa of this message and asks Lisa if there was a fight or something else that might have happened to cause Katelin to not want to come home. And Amber says, no, there wasn't any fight, leaving Katelin's loved ones completely baffled as to what the hell is going on.
Oh, my God. Yeah, because that's what you do.
Now, the family does note that Katelin didn't seem uneasy or like anything was troubling her while she was visiting. As far as they saw, Katelin was very happy. Lisa calls her sister Pam Rogowski after receiving the message that Katelin had sent, just trying to get an idea of what to do and where to even start from here. Pam recalls that they called the airline to figure out if Katelin had boarded, and she hadn't. The family then starts to think maybe a friend had picked her up from the mall, but James notes that Katelin never said anything about a friend picking her up from the Springfield Mall, and he doesn't understand why Katelin didn't continue forward to the airport as they planned.
Well, my question, too, is the airlines can say that did she even check in? Because even back in 2015, with your smartphone, you could pre-board.
Yeah, she didn't check in.
Didn't check in at all.
Didn't check in at all.
Yeah, that's sus.
The family is now frantic with worry as they stay up all night trying to get in contact with Katelin, repeatedly calling her phone and sending messages. And this carries on into the next day with there being absolutely no word from Katelin. Mm-hmm. The police department, and I'm presuming security at the airport, both told the family members that you can't do anything yet, and if she wants to be missing, she can.
Yeah, that's still bullshit. I call bullshit. Yeah.
Now, the disappeared episode does mention how it's too early for authorities to help to find Katelin, to which the eye roll that I did was enough for me to see my own brain.
Right, exactly.
In the United States, you do have a right to disappear. You absolutely can just walk away from your life and start a new one without giving any indication to your friends or family.
Right.
The waiting period, however, for reporting a person missing is a myth. And most agencies apply this to try to filter in and out actual cases from a spur-of-the-moment case. Like, for example, somebody just walks off for a few days and comes back.
Yeah.
By setting requirements to report a missing person within 24 hours, which can greatly hinder an investigation in the long run. Like I said before in Sophia Reeder's episode, if you've got that gut feeling that something is wrong, for the love of God, push the fucking case.
Absolutely. Don't wait, don't hesitate.
So finally, on Monday morning, 2 days after Katelin had last contacted her family, Lisa has had enough, and she contacts the local police in Spotsylvania County to report Katelin missing. And at first, the police think she's just a standard runaway. She's just being a dumb teenager, and she'll come back. She just needs time.
I hate when that is like almost textbook of most police departments to immediately assume that if a kid goes missing, oh, they just ran away. Mm-hmm. I would say probably 75 to 90% of them are definitely not runaways.
Well, even if they were a runaway, there are circumstances that they run away and they intend to come back home. However, during that time, something happens that doesn't allow them to come home.
Or if you are supposed to be labeled a runaway, don't you already have a history of being a runaway? Like little kids that run off and then they catch them and bring them back, that type of thing. Then I would understand, label that child as a runaway, repeat offender. Otherwise, if this she doesn't have any type of friggin' history that's bad.
As we know. As far as we know.
And just freaking disappear off the face of the earth. Oh, yeah, but she's run away. No.
Yeah, exactly. So while Lisa is still filing out her report to the police department, she's pulled into a room and told that police have found Katelin's luggage on the side of the river road in a drainage ditch.
Oh, Jesus.
This was more than 50 miles from Reagan National Airport and within Spotsylvania County near the Fredericksburg city limits.
That isn't even close to where she was supposed to be at in the mall, right?
Mm-mm. Now, the contents of the suitcase raised more questions for family members. The suitcase had a broken wheel, and inside was Katelin's wallet that still had its credit and debit cards linked to Amber's account, Lisa's account, and there's still cash inside, as well as her ID, her phone charger, and toothbrush.
How about
the
the
only
plane tickets?
missing items from the suitcase were her phone, clothes, and high school diploma. As far as the plane tickets go, I believe that they were still in the suitcase.
Okay. Why would you need... No, I do know. Okay, go ahead. I have my theory.
Now, unfortunately, with the suitcase being found in the state that it was in, it leads people closest to Katelin to start fearing the worst. And her mother, Lisa, stated in an interview, "It just makes me wonder if she's been kidnapped or is even alive. It's just hard to think about."
I can't blame her.
The Spotsylvania County Sheriff, Roger L. Harris, noted in an interview that the circumstances surrounding this case are suspicious enough to warrant our full investigative efforts in attempting to locate Miss Akens.
Oh, now you are, okay.
With that, news of Katelin's disappearance quickly spreads through the county, and multiple news agencies do reports on the topic of the missing 19-year-old.
I kind of vaguely remember this news hitting in Havasu, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rob Marshall is the investigating detective of Katelin's case, and he starts getting information about Katelin herself and the family's dynamic.
Okay.
Now, although it may have taken some time to get started, I do like that Rob makes mention of how when investigating these types of cases, you need to know who you're fighting for.
Exactly.
So, Detective Marshall also gets a statement from James at this time when he was the last person to see Katelin. The account that he gives regarding the last sighting of Katelin remains the same. He dropped Katelin off at the Springfield Mall at around 1 p.m. that day in the JCPenney's section of the mall, and that he had to take her to her flight since he had work later that evening. She was going to go walk the mall for a little bit to kill some time and then take the metro to the airport, which he didn't find strange at all.
Well, he probably thought she was used to doing that kind of stuff. Maybe he had no prior knowledge that she had no prior knowledge of that place.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, on the other hand, finds this whole plan very strange since James had known Katelin for most of her life, and he would know that Katelin wouldn't know how to navigate the metro to the airport for her flight.
Okay, I can kind of see her side, too.
To corroborate James's statement, Detective Marshall calls the Springfield Mall as well as the metro station and requests the surveillance footage from December 5th.
I was going to ask that. They should have cameras.
The detective also calls Reagan Airport authorities, and they kept tabs on Katelin's plane ticket, which continues to remain active at this time, meaning she hasn't used it, but she hasn't checked.
Well, yeah.
It hasn't been discarded yet. Now, while Detective Marshall is digging deep into Katelin's case and trying to track down leads as to where the young woman might be, a new chilling call comes in. Just a few miles from where Katelin's suitcase had been discovered in Spotsylvania County, a body of a young girl has been discovered slumped over the steering wheel of her vehicle. The girl had suffered what was originally described as by the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Captain Jeff Pierce as severe trauma to her upper body and a gunshot wound to the back of her head.
The fuck?
The victim is about 20 years old with blonde hair and tattoos and an eerily close description that matches Katelin's. The family is now panic-stricken as they wait anxiously for police to identify the young Jane Doe, but to their relief, the girl is identified and it's not Katelin. The girl is 21-year-old Heather Saccone, who lived a couple miles from Katelin's family and possibly even worked with Katelin's mother, Lisa. However, the frightening murder on the eve of Katelin's disappearance sends shock through the already scared community. Additionally, Heather's family did state in an interview as well that someone had been stalking her as of recently.
Oh, Jesus.
It's leading people to wonder if Katelin has also met a similar fate, and even have some locals posting to Facebook about a possible serial killer in the Spotsylvania County area.
Well, if she looks similar enough to her, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord.
Now, there's some speculation that the Facebook post of a possible serial killer in Spotsylvania County could have been linked to that of Richard Mark Evanetz, who was a career criminal and wanted for the deaths of at least 3 girls in Spotsylvania County.
Jesus.
But he committed suicide in 2002.
Or did he?
He did, because we'll cover him in the Route 29 stalker.
Oh, God, you're going to make me do that one, too. Okay.
Regardless, Detective Marshall immediately starts looking for connections between Katelin and Heather to see if they may have known each other, had similar groups of friends, maybe had mutual friends, their interests aligned, just any type of relationship to link these two together. A search warrant is filed on Monday by the Spotsylvania detective Donnie Reed, which gave authorities the right to search the 2010 Kia that Heather had been found inside. Okay. After hours upon hours of digging, there's no linkage between Katelin and Heather, which allows Detective Marshall to refocus on his investigation into Katelin. 5 days after Katelin vanished, search and rescue teams scanned the Rappahannock River nearby where Katelin's luggage was found, looking for any sign of Katelin or her possessions. This search turns up nothing, but law enforcement does go ahead and do a 30-mile radius aerial search of the area to see if anything can be located or if something may have been missed from a ground search that could be seen from a sky search perspective.
Okay.
With the searches coming up missing, Detective Marshall decides to contact the group of friends that Katelin had been out with that Thursday before she vanished, and he gets an earful. They were drinking and playing card games, and apparently one thing led to another, and the group got intimate with each other.
Oh, so then she does have a basis that she did cheat on Amber. Okay.
According to one of Katelin's friends, the feelings of regret that he was facing, as well as the ones that Katelin was feeling, were very mutual. The two of them went down to the dog park with the friend's dog, and according to this friend, Katelin was pretty beside herself and wasn't speaking a whole lot. After this, they drive Katelin back to her mom's house in Katelin County, Virginia. Detective Marshall learns through this interview that although the couple had known Katelin for several years and they were very close with her, they had never been intimate with her before. This interview is also very straightforward and doesn't really send any alarm bells ringing to Detective Marshall. It does, however, help to explain the text that Katelin sent to Amber the evening prior to her disappearance.
So I can kind of get that mentality wrapped around that. Okay.
Now, as detectives go through social media, they also find another message that she'd sent in the early morning hours stating, "I don't want to be here and I don't want to be there." This raises questions to investigators if she was talking about not wanting to be in Virginia or Arizona, and if she had possibly disappeared on purpose to get out of her engagement.
Can kind of see that too, but as much as she loves her family, I think
that would
she
be
would have
really
went to
hard
them.
to do.
Yeah, that would be like you deciding to up and fly, and I'd be going, no, that's not how she rolls.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now, police use stakeout techniques in locations where Katelin would regularly visit to see if she was around or possibly staying with friends. But nearly 2 weeks after Katelin vanished, on the way to the airport, there are still no leads, and there's no idea where Katelin could possibly be.
Wow.
Now, Katelin's cell phone records finally come in, and it turns the investigation upside down entirely. When Katelin had sent those messages to her mother at around 2 p.m. stating that she was at the airport, her phone records indicate that she was not at the airport or even near the Springfield Mall at that time. Her phone actually pinged in Fredericksburg, over 50 miles from Reagan International Airport, but just 5 miles from where her suitcase was found.
Okay, and where did the stepfather work?
He's over in Fredericksburg.
Ooh, the plot thickens.
Records also show that James had told Katelin's mother, Lisa, that he dropped Katelin off at the mall at around a similar time. However, cell phone records indicate that neither of the phones were at the location at that time. Desperate to get answers for the family, Detective Marshall scans through the security tape of the Springfield Mall to get any type of visual evidence of Katelin. However, according to the Virginia State Police cold case database, the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, Katelin was never seen on any of the video at the Springfield Mall. Surveillance of the airport and metro station also show no indication that Katelin was even there.
Well, that just, yeah.
Thus far, James has been fully cooperative with police. Every little question or quick phone call to James, he'd answer, and at the time, he seemed like a very concerned father figure. However, with recent findings in regards to the surveillance videos, there's questions regarding if he's being less than truthful or withholding information from law enforcement. So, Detective Marshall requests that James comes into the station and takes a polygraph test to rule him out as a possible person of interest in this case. James agrees to do this, and they schedule a polygraph for the morning of December 29th at 10:30 a.m. Right after Christmas Day, however, Detective Marshall tries to pick up the investigation where he left off when he receives word from James that he will no longer be participating in a polygraph under legal advisement of an attorney. James also states that Detective Marshall is looking at him as a suspect as well, to which Detective Marshall has never given any indication that James has been labeled a suspect in this case, and that James was simply the last person to be seen with her. They just need to exclude him to move forward with the case.
Right.
To which James doesn't say anything more, and he hangs up, leaving Detective Marshall stunned as to why James wouldn't want to clear his name and just have the investigation move on with Katelin's disappearance.
And now he's a suspect, or should be.
With no other recourse, a search warrant is taken out regarding probable cause to search James's residence and the swamp land behind his house. Ooh. During the search, items are seized like computers and cell phones, and a forensic exam is done on his vehicles as well as a thorough search of his property and the surrounding environment. However, not a shred of evidence is found to suggest that anything suspicious happened at the residence, and James adamantly claims that he had nothing to do with Katelin's disappearance. Although investigators do question if he may be covering for his ex-stepdaughter's disappearance in some way.
That's what I'm wondering too.
As many aspects of his story are just starting to not add up, such as the time in which he claimed to have dropped Katelin off at 1 p.m., however, sends a message nearly an hour later at 1:52 p.m. to Lisa saying that he dropped Katelin off. Additionally, the phone pings over 50 miles away in Partlow, Virginia, just miles from where Katelin had her last ping.
Sounds like he took her there instead of where he said.
Digging even deeper into this, authorities also discover a discrepancy in the story that James told Lisa the night Katelin disappeared. James had stated that he was going to work that evening. However, upon verifying this claim with James's employer, it was found that he didn't go to work. In fact, he called out.
Okay, that's adding more suspicion.
Also, in the first days of Katelin's disappearance, when everyone was frantically trying to call and get a hold of her, James never did.
Oh.
Deeply shaken by these feelings, Lisa confronts James at his home, asking him why he lied. Lisa does believe that he knows something.
I think I do too.
Katelin's loved ones do insist that it is unlikely that Katelin disappeared of her own volition. And with how much she calls and interacts with her family, it is indeed strange for her to possibly voluntarily disappear. Police continue to explore other possible scenarios, one of which is a theory Gabby discusses that Katelin had possibly met somebody online and had been corresponding with this individual when they decided to meet up. Now, while police have found no indication of new friends on her regular social media apps and cell phone records, they do find an encrypted messaging app which they themselves cannot access. If Katelin had met up with somebody online and had been met with foul play, it would explain the bizarre text messages and the discarded suitcase on the side of the road. It's known that her phone sent those messages. However, it's not known if Katelin sent the messages herself.
That is just, it keeps getting twisted and more twisted.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the time of the airing of the disappeared episode Flight Risk in 2017, both Katelin Akens and Heather Sacone's cases had yet to be solved. However, on June 6th of 2018, one 29-year-old Jonathan Vigerio, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and using a firearm in the commission of a felony in the case of Heather Sacone's death. So, Heather's case has been solved.
Well, at least they got that closure, but he's never confessed to anything other than hers? Okay.
Lisa stays determined to find her daughter, and in 2021, a bright yellow billboard bearing the image of Katelin was placed at a busy intersection in King George County. Lisa believes that James has more information about Katelin's disappearance, and he's not sharing it with authorities, stating, "He needs to talk. He needs to come forward. He's got to know where she is." For nearly 3 months, there was a billboard bearing Katelin's image in plain view of State Road 206 in Dahlgren Road, where it meets U.S. Highway 301. However, it was reportedly being taken down, and it was being reestablished somewhere nearby where James works.
Ooh.
Lisa states in an interview with the Freelance Star, "I was hoping people in his office would whisper and talk and make him feel uncomfortable."
Can't blame her. Good strategy.
Right?
Yeah.
The billboard was provided by the Roanoke-based Aware Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that strives to create a culture whereby individuals work tirelessly for the silent voices of missing, endangered, and murdered individuals.
Nice.
Unfortunately, to this day, Katelin Akens is still missing, and information regarding her disappearance is being asked for by the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Department, and there's a $2,500 reward leading to an arrest in the case.
All right, you want my theory?
I want your theory.
All of her credit cards and information was found in the suitcase, right? Except for her birth certificate?
Well, her diploma was taken. Her driver's license is still there.
Her driver's
the things
license
that are
there,
missing
but the
are
diploma.
Her diploma, her cell phone, and some clothes.
Okay, the diploma can possibly be used or sold to establish an ID for somebody else because they don't have the actual physical ID of them, like in another state or another country or something like that. So that could have been sold away. The cell phone, somebody took it just to keep the family off track. And as much as I hate to say it, I think that son of a bitch knows exactly what went on. Just for the simple fact is he was married into that family. He knew how close the family was. And he never once tried to reach out to the girl that he supposedly dropped off at the mall.
I can't say one way or another if it's him or not because...
Well, I know, but it's just that gut reaction.
I know it's that gut reaction. It's that mama gut reaction.
It is. That poor mother. My heart breaks for her. Especially she knows him well enough. That this
is somebody that you trusted at one point.
There's a reason she divorced him,
so
but
much
still.
Going on. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is she has to be overall, and I'm not going to say it's a little thing of infidelity, but it's very insignificant in comparison to her being gone. There's no real reason for that.
Yeah.
You know, you apologize, you own it, you stand up like the fucking person you are and admit to it and either get over it or get past it. You don't just frickin' walk away. She does not sound like that type of individual.
No, she doesn't. She sounds like the type of individual that, and even in the interview with True Crime Daily, like her mom notes that she's a crier. She does cry a lot, but ultimately, like, they're always there for her. Like, they come to her type of thing. Like, it's...
Exactly. And it's as close as she was with her family.
There's no reason that she would disappear willingly.
Exactly. Even as mad as I get at you or your dad or whatever, it usually dies off after 24 hours and I'm back to normal. Mm-hmm. So she sounds like she's more emotionally... what would the word be that I'm trying to think of? She's more compassionate to the feelings of her family.
Exactly.
She wouldn't have done that to her family.
She wouldn't have done this.
No. Everything points towards him or someone that he is in cahoots with or possibly owed money to or something. But I do love that mother's idea of putting that billboard up so that everybody sees it, and that's genius. Genius, Mom.
So with that, we're going to run through Katelin Michelle Akens' description. She is female. Her ethnicity is white or Caucasian. Her height is 5 foot 4 inches. Weight is 120 to 130 pounds. Her hair color at the time of her disappearance was blonde or strawberry blonde. Her hair description was short, lower than her ears, but not at the bottom of her neck, so probably a little bit of an outgrown pixie cut, I would presume.
Yep.
Her eyes are blue. She does wear dark framed glasses. Date of last contact was December 5th of 2015. She is missing from Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Age of disappearance is 19 years old, and her current age is 27 years old. She was last seen in a black Bass Pro brand fleece jacket and black pants, wearing a pair of black and pink Vans brand shoes, as well as her dark framed glasses. Her nose, lower right lip, and ears are all pierced, with her ears being gauged. She has a tattoo of a butterfly on her left forearm covering slash mark scars, and a tattoo of 3 red stars on her left foot. If you want more information regarding Katelin Akens, her NCMEC number is 1259083. Her NCMEC number again is 1259083. And her NamUs profile is number MP31989. Her NamUs profile number again is MP31989. If you or anyone you know has any information regarding the disappearance of Katelin Akens, you are asked to contact the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office at 540-582-7115. That number again is 540-582-7115. Thank you again for listening to Spattered. Please make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Spattered Podcast and on X at Spattered Pod. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified when the show goes live or drops a video. As always, if you have a case request, any questions, or are interested in sponsoring the show, please email me at spatteredpodcast@gmail.com. Spattered is a true crime podcast hosted by Caitlin Gardner and Sarah Ray. The research and edits for this episode were done by Caitlin Gardner. All the music for the show was done by Lucio Cardenas. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember,
The truth is always in the blood.